My
should
tablet
be.
finally made it to 16%.
You can do it.
It's too late because I already moved all of my notes to my phone. So.
Oh, there you go.
Whatever.
Now let's see if we're live.
Get it where you can.
Give that a minute to catch up.
Never.
Live on YouTube. We're live on Twitch. Cool. Hello, everyone. Hello, Internet. Hope you're all doing well.
Cool story, bro.
That's right. That's us. Podcast about cool stories. Okay. Are you guys ready to get started?
Yep.
Hold on.
Holding.
I'm waiting for my network to decide it wants to actually be nice to me.
Come on,
Wait
network.
for it.
You can do it. I believe in you. Oh, boy.
Man, we have, since we're waiting, we have voting coming up in a couple days for allowing fiber to get installed in my town now.
Let's go, yeah.
And I told my wife, I was like, well, that's an automatic yes.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But there is like so much dissenting, like flyers and stuff like that for people against it. I'm looking up their stuff and comparing it with, the stuff for the places that are for it.
Sure.
I'm like, okay, I don't understand what your guys' biggest issue with paying for fiber is.
I'm curious what their core concern is for having faster internet.
The biggest thing that they lean on is that you taking an estimated value of a home being $150,000, your taxes would increase by like $1,850 or $1,875, something like that.
$18.50?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I'm like, all right, if you're
decimals matter.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking like if it's $1,800, like yeah, that's pretty big. But if it's $18, you can get over it.
Yeah. But between it increasing by that, and then it's like, and you have to pay that whether you use it or not, and it's like, yeah, that's how fucking taxes work.
Right. Like,
like I pay for the library. I don't pay for it because I use the library every month. I pay for it because other people use the library and need it. I also pay for the tiny little transit system that we have. It's literally like a couple buses around here.
Right.
I don't ever use it, but I pay for it so that other people have access to it. So it's like, what the fuck?
I love when like 40 and 50-year-olds are finding out about taxes. It'd be like, I have to pay for something I don't use? It's like, how have you made it this far?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you want to pay less taxes and then not pay for the roads that you use and then complain when the roads get shot to shit.
Yeah, weird. Why are bridges falling apart?
Funny how that works.
Not sure.
There was like the one big thing about, it's like, oh, well, if you don't like how your food and gas are increasing, you're not going to like this about, the taxes. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. Those are
different
completely
things.
Unrelated fucking things that are also increasing a little bit due because, hey, people deserve to be paid a living wage and a little bit more because our government is shit and doesn't know how to do stuff.
Are you angry about these hot button topics? Here's something unrelated in your town. It's like, wait, what?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Don't forget the immigrants are coming for your job. And like, okay, whatever, old man. Sit down, shut the fuck up.
I'm in Michigan, so probably not.
Yeah.
Let me fucking tell you, this immigrant is fucking coming for your goddamn job.
That's right.
I know.
Give it to me.
Specifically my field. Get the fuck out of... Go back where you come from.
That's right. Do IT in England. Oh, man.
Yeah, it's just some of the dumb shit. It's like, man, we have real things to worry about.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Also, let me have fast internet, please. Just don't take this from me.
There's a global concerns. Fuck your goddamn, your house concerns. Fucking focus on the global concerns, please.
Yeah.
So, by the way, I will not be in anything to do with the internet today, other than obviously talking to you two. So, I'm not going to be in Twitch. I'm not going to be anywhere else. I'm literally only seeing YouTube right now. That's the only way I seem to keep this thing stable.
Okay.
Also, my tower is making a clicky noise, which means I think a wire is hitting a fan.
Great.
Which is great.
Or it's your hard drive.
Oh no!
Don't fucking say that.
Well, do you have an SSD? Because if you do, it's not the hard drive.
There you go.
I do
It's
have
that
an
simple.
SSD. I actually
see, there
have
you
two
go.
SSDs plugged in. I also have one Plata hard drive plugged in.
Oh,
No,
well,
so it's probably that then.
yeah.
Back up your shit now.
Yeah, run a smart
I do.
test. Yeah.
Frequently.
Yeah. All right,
Okay.
you guys ready?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Howdy. That was a race between me saying hello and whether or not I was going to burp into the microphone. Yeah.
Perfect. That's the race. And the Nip.
Yeah, bear with us. Everything is super weird.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Hey, if you want to have things get even weirder, go check out patreon.com/E1M1.
Them ones are numbers.
Every week we do the uncensored, exclusive Outcast. It's all the stuff we talk about before we go live, before the video version of the show goes out. It's where we talk about non-video game stuff, usually what we're watching, what we're doing, what we're up to, kind of with everything else. And if you
General
want to
chit chat.
I was like,
Yeah.
we're still on our energy drink kick.
if you want to hear
we
another,
get bored of that. Yeah.
hear another energy drink review. You got that over there.
I got like 8 weeks worth of energy drinks left in my fridge.
You
man.
got, you got
and
39 more.
I saw on Discord that someone posted like this goat energy, and I was like, that's kind of what I want to do now. Is I just want to
Yeah, that
find
was
the
just-
weirdest, dumbest thing that I can
Mhm.
find, and then try it live on the podcast.
Hey man, that's where booked up came from. That was booked up with the B. No censoring,
Right.
please.
Yep.
Yeah, if you want to hear the review of that, check out the Outcast. Or if you just want to giggle because we swear, I'm take your money either way. You also get early access to We Roguelike It. The Shore Moon and I are playing just way too many roguelikes for the doctors would not recommend. It's not good for our health.
Correct.
And
Oh no, you guys are the scientists, not the doctors.
yes, no,
I was
we're
gonna say I
not.
thought you guys were the
Yeah.
doctors.
No, the
These-
scientists on the
these-
show would recommend for sure.
These specific doctors, they do have borders, and they want you to stay the hell away from their borders with roguelikes.
That's right. That's right. And you get early access to Critical Misses. Shore Moon and I are catching up on all the media hits we missed. We're starting a brand new season 16? 15? Right now?
15,
15.
which is a remakeable season.
Yeah, we're doing a
Oh, nice.
remakeable season there. As you get a couple months early access to that. All of that is over at patreon.com/E1M1.
1 and 1.
Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Okay, so there was some shade thrown at me in our Discord channel this week.
There was, the smallest of gauntlet was thrown down.
It was.
more like someone snapped a finger. Nothing
Right.
was really thrown anywhere.
Right.
Yeah. When I say shade, I of course mean the shadow a leaf of grass causes when the sun shines over it. That kind of shade. Which was, oh, hey, Moon, you've been moving and doing this and that and working so much that, oh, I'm so far ahead of you in achievements.
Why are you so low on the achievement leaderboard on the
No,
Xbox?
It's like you're not even trying anymore. What happened to you?
Moon just cracks his knuckles and be like, all right, let's do this.
I believe my response was, you do realize the last person who said that to me lived to regret it, right?
That's right.
So you'll have to forgive my rather unusual, if you've been listening recently, like games list this week, or if you've been listening for a long time, it's Moon's return to form.
You pulled up the spreadsheet. You said, all right, where's sort by easiest? Let's do this.
Where are all my ones
Not
and
even
twos
that.
at, yo?
No, the easiest way. No, get away from me with the ones and twos. I hate odd-numbered achievements. I'm
Curse you,
still
Orange Box.
working on Moonlighter, Boston.
Hey man, the scientists caused that one. It wasn't me.
Sure. I want to take you to the doctor court, or just court as it's
The
formally
Council of
known.
Scientists.
Okay, so.
Oh boy.
Yeah. It's been a long time since you've heard this name, but it's time for a return to classic A. CA NeoGeo Metal Slug X.
Okay.
I am really bad at the Metal Slug games, guys.
I was gonna say that you were either gonna say you're really good or you're sucking.
I'm so bad.
I'm real
because
bad.
I didn't grow up with these games, so
Yeah.
like I have no history with them. Like when they announced
Guess what?
that
A lot of people also didn't own a NeoGeo, so you're not the only one.
No, but like the Metal Slug games are like held in the highest regards and like they're worshipped like gods of classic games. It's like okay.
Because we all
Cool,
once emulators got good enough, we're like, all right, now I can finally play these things. Now they don't have to spend $300 on one cartridge.
Yeah,
but like when they announced the Metal Slug Tactics game, everybody lost their mind. Like this looks cool as hell. I was like,
So
okay,
good.
it's a tactics game.
Love it.
I have.
it looks cool, but for me, it's not because it's a Metal Slug game.
Right.
You just want the squares and the tens. I see how it is.
Yeah, I want the HP and the height differences and the turn order. Oh yeah.
Show me how far I can move. Oh.
Give me that sweet.
Shutting this down.
I am bad at Metal Slug, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help that in the NeoGeo games, it's the same 10 achievements basically.
Yeah.
It's like
right.
Do this on every single version of the games, and depending on the game, that could be real simple or real difficult. For me, this is on the real difficult end because I suck so hard at Metal Slug games. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's fine. Whatever.
They're fun games. They're just brutal.
Yeah. And also, I do find it funny that I can switch between the Japanese red blood version and the English white blood version.
That's right. I forgot about that.
The Aliens universe version, as I've been calling it in my head.
That's right.
Yeah, 100% do. If you want one of the best moments to ever happen in Critical Misses, by the way, folks, go listen to the Alien season.
The very first episode, the original Alien, and find somehow how I haven't had something spoiled for me in the 40 years I have been alive.
It's right. It's probably my second or third Critical Misses thing, along with I don't know, maybe Helen Mirren is going to be in this.
I'm throwing out, maybe Helen Mirren will be in this, and Moon was like,
about that, you're right. But yeah, it's whatever. It's Metal Slug. You know it, you love it, you hate it, whatever. And Boston, my organizational method for finding these games is my games and my games and apps sold by size.
Yep.
Descending or ascending, I should say.
Gotcha.
Get the small ones to the top of the list because that's probably the easy achievements.
Yeah.
And then, of course, staring me right in the face every time I do that is Limbo with its one missing achievement that I have to get in there.
Oh no, what do you have to do?
Is it don't die?
Complete the game dying less than 5 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which sucks because I did it before on the 360 version. I just haven't done it on the new version. So now I have to basically play through it 3 times. Once to get back into it, once to do a practice run, and once again to do the actual achievements. So
Limbo was only 5 hours?
It's pretty short.
Only 5 hours.
Yeah.
For a guy who has 0 time.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, coming from the guy who spends hundreds of hours in a JRPG, I mean...
Right.
Yeah, that's true. We time dilation is real. It depends on how close you go to the RPGs.
Yeah.
That's
how close
to the black holes.
Yeah.
But no, it's Metal Slug, whatever. It's fine. Super Boxland Deluxe.
Ooh, okay.
I told you guys are going to get some games here that I've never heard of, spoken of, but they seem to be bought and installed on my system for reasons.
Yep.
That reason is achievements.
That's right.
Super Boxland Deluxe is it's a box sliding puzzle game where you move boxes onto switches. It's very old school moving a box puzzle based game. You can turn on and off multiplayer as well, which is kind of cool. So you can have a second person show up.
Wait, is this Super Boxland Deluxe or Demake?
Demake.
Gotcha.
Okay. I was about to say, yeah, I'll look at the video that you're going to show on stream, and then I realized I'm not going to do that. I'd rather be able to talk for a while rather than not.
Yeah.
Thank you, network. But it's a very simple slidey puzzle game. One screen, solve the puzzles on that screen. It opens a gate. You go to the next level. Here's a new puzzle game about sliding boxes. Here's a new puzzle map about sliding boxes.
There are more boxes for me to slide. Oh, what am I going to do?
And it has a super handy rewind feature where you can just hold B and rewind time. And like I said, it's got on-the-fly multiplayer. So you can have one person. If you press Y, it spawns a second person who you also control with the right stick.
Oh, interesting.
And if you press Y again, it switches that second person to a second controller.
Okay, that's pretty nice.
So if you have kids around, for example, it's a really good example of, we want to play, let's play together. Okay, I'm bored, I'm going to go do something else now. It's like,
how's your spatial reasoning, kid?
Yeah.
Hit Y and then just get rid of them out of the game. And it doesn't need no menus, no nothing. It just, they appear and vanish. Like, that's super quick, super simple. It's kind of cool as hell.
Yeah.
But no, it's fine. Whatever. It's a Boxland puzzle game.
Yeah.
And speaking of box puzzle games published by Rakatala Games, that's the publisher for all you achievement hunters out there. There is a Mina and Michi. Which is a top-down box sliding puzzle game. But this one has jellies, so it has combat in it. And there's forced two-player integration in this because Michi is a big blue monster. Is where Boston pulling up the trailer or the video, and it literally looks the exact same.
I also don't know how to spell this box puzzle. Michi.
Minda. M-I-N-D-A and the word M-I-C-H-I.
And Michi.
Hopefully that should pull it up for you. I'm waiting. I want to see the reaction. How exactly the same it is.
Interesting. They look pretty similar.
Except the second character is a big blue monster instead of, a vanishing girl.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. It's fine. The differences, Mina and Michi has health and enemies and a combat system and rolly spiky logs to avoid.
It looks like the SNES Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. You do get upgrades, health upgrades, things like that in Mina and Michi. Make sure that if you're playing with somebody who is not us, so younger audiences, you give them player 2 because spoiler alert, the big blue beastie is invincible and cannot be damaged by anything.
Right. 2 thumbs up. I like it.
So like you have rooms full of enemies and you have to like defeat all of the enemies and bosses to complete the stage or whatever. So you literally just run in with the big blue guy and just spin and spin and spin.
I like it.
And the boss does nothing to you because it can't, and you kill the boss, and it's great. So yes, that's 2 box sliding puzzle games. Get ready for the future of box sliding puzzle games from myself. I'm sure it will go fantastically.
Yep.
Okay, on to quote-unquote real games now.
Okay.
Metal Slug is not real to me. I don't care. Don't come at me with your things. It doesn't exist. It's not a real game. It's Metal Gear Solid of its time. I'm losing my mind. Okay. Dying Light. I continued to play this week. Nimp, I didn't send you a text message. Don't get offended, because all I was doing was the side quests, because there's an achievement for it.
Whatever.
That also goes out to you, Rob. Don't get annoyed with me, you little punk. I was literally just doing side quests. I don't understand how it has the Fallout problem so severely, where the side quests are infinitely more interesting than the actual main quest in those games.
Oh, sure.
It was the same with Dead Island, which is hilarious because this came from the Dead Island devs, the team, some of the team at least. And it's like, how is it that you make short side quests so much more emotionally and entertainingly involved than the actual main story, which is just generic as hell?
Yeah.
Like, I want to talk to the gunsmith who wears a wizard hat. I want to talk to, like, the strange dude who's, like, making knockoff drugs for fun. Like,
right.
These are the people I'm interested in. Like, not, you know, the strange attitude lady who you like/don't like because you did or didn't kill her brother. I don't know. Whatever.
She's dead now anyway. We don't have to worry about her anymore. Or
yeah,
is
and
she?
it's like Schrodinger's brother. It's like, is he alive or is he dead? I don't know.
Did I kill him?
Not looking
Did
in
I
the
not?
box.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Should I have? It seemed like a good idea.
Yeah, kind of did. But no, it's kind of like, if you've heard us talk about this recently, you'll hear me talk about it still because I'm so close to being done with that game. Like, I'm like this close. I'm holding my fingers closely together on camera for those of you watching, listening to the audio version. But hey, guess what? It has a collectibles achievement, Nimp. A collectibles achievement.
Oh boy.
How many collectibles are there, Moon?
Luckily for the achievement, there was like 40.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That's not as. It's not like.
You don't have to collect all like 900 zombie statues or whatever there is.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to collect all of the agility orbs.
No. Why, Boston? Why?
Suffer with
talking
me.
About like psychic and emotional damage, and then you drop that bomb.
Hey man, I also was in the group of people that turned all of this music and sound effects and weapon stuff down and turned my TV up real loud and had my ears open. That's right. You listen for that where it's like, where is it? Hold on.
If you don't have an in-game way for us to eventually find any of your 500 plus hidden things, don't put it in the game.
Yeah.
It's just so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of is. I like it when you get like an unlock later where it's like, just show me the collectibles. Like, please.
Well, and it's fine too if there's like something specific, like we can always find it in this type of location. But like specifically with the orbs that you were just talking about, they were literally anywhere.
Yeah.
In some places you couldn't get to unless you had all the other orbs and wouldn't think to look at.
Yeah, and even it was even before the time of like, well, I marked out on your map because you've been around it, like you've seen it, even if you can't get it there. It's just like, no, man, go find it. You got one left. It's a big city.
I'm pretty sure that one noise is gonna haunt my nightmares until the day I die.
Yes,
because
I'm pretty sure that and a couple other games are why I don't achievement hunt anymore.
Yep.
I think I paid like 2 pence for like 5 different copies of all of the different zones and that to be printed in color from my college library.
Yeah.
So I could take them home and run through that map so many times to find the ones I was missing.
I was gonna say, and still not find it, even though you somehow marked all of them off the map.
Yep. Oh, it's the worst.
And one of the Crackdown 1 maps was actually wrong as well. One of the orbs was in the wrong place. That was the hilarious part.
I love it.
Yeah. Anyway, Dying Light is fun. I should be wrapping that up soon. Hopefully, I'm debating what big game to leap into next. Well, it might be Dying Light 2. It might be other games. We'll see. My final game this week is Dead by Daylight, which is getting more Resident Evil DLC apparently.
Oh, exciting!
Wesker is going to be a killer now.
All right, that's pretty good.
And it's getting Rebecca and the lady from Resident Evil 2 with the red dress.
Ada.
Ada. Yes, yeah. I'm pretty sure she's coming in too. It's like, fine, whatever, bring it on. What are you going to do? Are you going to do Resident Evil 3 map? Is it going to be like a little mini Raccoon City I get to run around in as the map? Because I'd be down for that.
Man,
Heck yeah.
Like, I'm always down for that. But you know, it may or may not have generated itself back onto the Friday night rotation. Ha! That was a joke for all you fans out there who know the game. Thank you. You're welcome. Boy. Yeah, dude, I love this game, and the Series X update is fantastic. It looks so good now as well, especially considering like we used to play the Vaseline lens version of it, where it's just like it's like, is that fog or is it just badly rendered? Because I can't tell sometimes.
Right.
But, you know, it was fun. We like the amount of killers in that game means that like, oh look, there's a ghost face. Then there's a huntress, then there's a really good ghost face, and then there's the chick from The Ring, who I did not know was in this game.
Oh, that's wild. I didn't know that.
And she teleports to televisions, by the way.
That's pretty good.
So why not? And then we had like a really horrible huntress who like just couldn't hit any of us with the axes. Now that could be because we're playing in a 4-stack and we're just doing a dip dodge dive out the way. It's like, oh, I hear you go and throw the axe. That means I run sideways.
Sure.
I'm not one of these, Covenant / Prometheus people where you run straight from the ship that's falling straight on you. I take a hard right and run the other direction.
Right.
You know, it's what you do. But
yeah.
I love Dead by Daylight, and now I need to have a double or triple blood points event, please, because I'm missing so many different perks. Because the whole reset system that it's got now, I'm like,
right.
Okay, so I don't have Nia Carlson's urban evasion on everybody anymore. I don't have the guys get you off the hook once unlocked on everybody anymore. This is BS, but okay, okay. I'll put another 120 hours into your game just so I can get those things back again.
Oh, sure. No, I guess I have to play more Dead by Daylight. Oh, shucks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sell me on a bad time.
Yeah, exactly.
I will admit, though, that the comment of the night came from Rob, where we were against, I think it was one of the really good ghost faces, or maybe the really good huntress. But after the round is over, you can see what everyone's loadout is, including the killer. So you can see what perks and stuff they were loading out. And Rob's reading it. He's like, "Oh, it's Nasa's Colon, barbecue and chili, the pig one. Of course, they had all of the obnoxious ones on, the ones I run with Legion."
Of course, I know him. He's me.
It's like I do the same thing. If I'm a killer and I'm not achievement hunting, I'm there to win. So if you think this is broken, don't play the game until it gets patched. Dead Hard was trashed for so long on consoles, but I still played. I never use Dead Hard anymore, but sure, why not?
Yeah.
It's a really good time to just sit there, have a laugh, wind each other up, make fun of each other, like poke fun at the fact that Justin missed like 6 skill checks in a row, like while I'm sitting there watching him repair a Jenny, and it's just like,
as you're slowly backing away from the loud noises.
Right.
100%. Like I said, I was watching. I wasn't helping. I was watching him do it. Because this is also, and I love you, Justin, but this is also Mr. I'm going to slow crawl my way towards you when you've got maybe 5 seconds left on the hook before you die. And if you would have started sprinting when he had the chance instead of slow crawling, he could get you. But instead you die because he slow crawls, because he's, that's how he plays. And that's fine. We all play differently. I have fun with that game. And win or lose, like, so far we haven't had a night yet where one person just gets focused down, which is that when it can turn a little bit annoying is when, like, you play 10 games and for 9 of those games, Rob was the first person hit, the first person killed, the first person highlighted, the first person who was out the match.
They're always coming for you for some reason.
Yeah. We haven't had one of those really. We got close this week because Rob did get it like in the head 3 times in a row.
But poor Rob.
but then, you know, it's one of those things, you bounce back, you take another round, and then you may or may not leave just into the wolves, so the rest of you can escape. That's just the way it goes.
I mean,
you know,
sometimes you got to do it.
This isn't help your friends. It's Dead by Daylight.
Yeah. Right.
It's all for one until it becomes one for all.
That's right.
That's right. And this one is going after all of the blood points.
All right.
But it's fun. It's great. That's all I've been playing. Nim, take us away.
All right. So, in a surprising turn of events, I've been playing a lot of Into the Breach this week.
Oh.
On my phone.
One of the best SRPGs ever made, one might say.
Well, there's really no RPG aspect to it in some cases. It took a little bit for me to figure out what I should be doing. That it's not necessarily you should just be attacking the bugs that come up, but it's more just moving things so that other things don't get blown up.
Yeah, I've always called it kind of the best puzzle game because it's not necessarily about doing damage all the time. Sometimes you want to take damage to stop a bug from attacking a building where you can take a little bit of damage instead. Like, it's a very cool game.
Let's say when I first started playing it, I was kind of sitting there goofing around with it, and I'm like, I don't know what you guys see in this, you're idiots. And then, 5 hours later, I'm still messing around with this game.
One more battle.
All right,
just
fine.
One more. I can finish this island.
It's like, yeah, you guys aren't idiots.
I guess.
We're all idiots. Yeah.
That's a true answer.
That is, in all honesty, that is literally the exact response I had to FTL. Was like, I don't get it. I don't like this kind of game. Nah. 12
An hour
hours
later, my med bay.
Yeah. An hour later, it's like, wait, how do I get the stone person on my crew? There's a very specific set I need to do. Okay, let me.
Right.
There is I am now used to using the regular squad that you get by default.
Yeah. Yep.
Also, I am playing this on easy because.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
No,
1,000%.
Yep.
Yeah. I tried it on normal one time, and I'm like, whoa, okay, this is going back down on difficulty.
It is a steep difficulty increase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So starting out with the default squad, you have a mech. You have like this cannon thing. Well, so the mech can walk around, and then it punches things. And if depending, I don't know if it's size related, but a lot of times when you punch things, it will move it in the direction that you're punching at. The next thing you get is like a cannon. I think it's called a brute or something like that. It shoots in your cardinal directions and hits, anything that's there.
It has a fairly long range too, which is nice.
Yeah. And then the next one, I forget what they actually call it, but it's basically like a rocket artillery where it, again, is only shooting in the cardinal directions, but it shoots over things.
Right.
So I can shoot over a building to hit an enemy. And if you don't hit the enemy, you don't cause damage, but you still have the ability to kind of push them in the opposite direction that your rocket landed. So that took a little bit to get used to and figure out. And then I unlocked another squad, which was laser beam. Like the mech was a laser beam. The other one was like this floating UFO that could pull things. And I forget what the third one is now.
That's a wild squad. I don't feel like I have ever gotten used to that squad at all.
The only thing I had to get used to is that the laser beam for the mech continues on no matter what's there. So if you go to shoot a bug, make sure there is not something you're supposed to be protecting behind it.
Right, or one of your units, or...
Yeah, it goes like the full length of the map, basically, and it deteriorates. So if whatever's right there, like the next square next to you, it'll do like 3 damage. And then, a couple squares back, it'll do 2, and then further on, it's 1. I don't know if it ever hits, if it hits 0 or not.
Right.
But yeah, that was interesting because that's when I started getting the concept of the game of, okay, this is more of a pushing-pulling game than it is just a full-on kill everything before it messes up a building or something.
Right.
So that took a little bit of getting used to. And then I unlocked the next squad, which I absolutely hated.
Is that the gas squad?
Oh god, you know what? Since it's on my phone, let me pull up my game because I'm on my
There you
phone
go.
right now for my notes this week.
I think the first group you get is the Rift Walkers, and I never
Yes, yep.
remember anybody else's name.
So the next one that I unlocked had the Jet as the mech.
Oh god.
And I cannot figure out how that Jet.
Yeah.
I understand that it's supposed to move, like it flies over in a direction to attack, and anything that's below it while it does it, it's supposed to be attacking.
Yes.
But it always seems random where you can, quote unquote, attack to, because anytime I've moved that jet, I get a completely different set of places I can go to no matter what. And I haven't been able to quite figure out where I can go. So yeah, the first one, yeah, is the Rift Walkers. The next one that I unlocked was the Zenith Guard. That was the one.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that was the one that had the laser mech, the UFO thing, and then it has the charged mech, which
right.
Give or take on that one, because it basically the only way it attacks is it just rams things, but it also does damage to itself.
It's a cool idea, but I feel like I always end up killing myself.
It was a little too much for me.
Yeah.
But when I attend, the one that I'm currently talking about with the jet mech is the Rusting Hulks.
Yeah, that's right.
So I couldn't figure out how to get the stupid jet to actually attack anything that I needed it to attack. It says in the description that it flies over land. It's not touching land. So I had it hover over a mine, thinking it's not touching it. It should be fine. No, it just blows up the mech.
100% blew up.
Yeah.
Oh,
which
sure.
is stupid. So I have no clue how the jet works. In the map that it kind of screwed me the most in, the first time I used all this stuff, you also have a rocket mech, which is the same as an artillery, only it can't shoot anything that's within 2 squares of it.
Right.
So I have my rocket mech, which is pinned down in the middle of the map because a bug came right up on it and webbed it. I have my jet that I can't get to attack the thing that's, webbed my rocket mech. And then I have the pulse mech. What does it do? I don't know. It wouldn't do anything.
I feel like when we were playing it for We Were Like It, I feel like that's the squad I consistently had the hardest time with, just because I just couldn't figure out what the rules were. Like, I think that's the problem you're having too, where it's like, what am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah, and from the descriptions that I was reading about it, apparently one of these mechs, I'm assuming it's the pulse one, can create smoke, and anything that is within that smoke starts to take damage.
Right.
The problem was I couldn't get the stupid thing to make smoke where I wanted. It would just randomly make smoke on the map, and of course nothing was by it. So I'm like, this whole group is useless. I don't understand why it's here.
Yeah.
And then it'll probably turn out that this is like the most OP thing in this game or something. You just need to figure it out. Yeah.
Have you tried making your own squad?
I just figured out that I could do a custom squad. And I jokingly threw 3 primary mechs in there just to test it out, and that was interesting.
One of my most powerful squads turned out to be the 3 punching mechs from the default group. I'm like, I'm going to throw 3 of these together. Just stomped.
That was exactly the thing I tried too, because I was like, all right, I like these. Let's go with that. But I do have a question about the pilots though.
Yes.
Okay.
So you get 3 pilots anytime you start a game. They all level up, and then when you get to a point where you have to go back, you can only choose 1.
Right.
I have a pilot that is at max level right now that I've been using. Hang on, let me pull up his stats. 7 times now.
Oh wow.
If I switch to a different primary pilot, does it reset that pilot to like level 1 or whatever?
If you bring a different pilot up back to the beginning, yes. When you see that pilot again, he will be back to level 1.
This game sucks.
But I think think there is a way to store pilots in the Rift, and then you can bring them back out later if you wanted to experiment with somebody else. I just can't remember how to do that for the life of me.
Yeah, I don't remember. They've put in so many updates to this, and I think that was one of the updates too, and I don't remember how to do it either.
Yeah, because I mean, I have 2 new pilots besides the main one that you start out with. One of them is just some glowy looking guy, and then I happened to realize just before I sent this other pilot out that this one is an android and requires power to actually work as a pilot.
Right, I forgot about
for those
that.
of you who haven't played this, you use power to increase basically like your
damage,
moves or your health or your
abilities,
damage skills,
everything.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to put in these power cores in your mech so you can do more, and you don't get those a whole lot. And using one for a pilot right now doesn't seem worth it.
It's a big ask. Yeah.
Yeah. But gameplay wise, on the phone, really good. Every once in a while, a thing will move to where I didn't want it to, and that was because I didn't realize either A, that I had selected that thing and then tapped another thing to make it move, or B, I'm trying to tap the square that it's on and it won't let me, and then something else ends up happening.
Right. Yeah, in those cases, I usually drag, like hold and drag, and you can do that, but even still, it's a little rough.
But besides that, though, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not a bad game. I mean, it wasn't before I listened to you guys talk about it, but if you've got a phone and you got a Netflix account, download it.
Yeah, it's nice having it on the phone.
I was say it makes it real easy, especially since you can quit at any time. So it's like if you start playing it, you get like 2 minutes in, all of a sudden, oh hey, I have to take care of something. Just shut it off; it saves it.
Yep. Yeah, it's really good.
From there, I have played more Far Cry 5.
Okay.
And I've beaten Far Cry 5.
Aha.
Okay.
For a company that keeps saying that we are not making political statements, I call BS. Not that I actually care one way or another.
Right.
However, no, there is obviously, without even looking, without even thinking about it, a lot of political statements going on in this game right now.
Yep.
And I don't really care. However, I felt that it kind of took away from the game a lot. Some of the
by them not just outright saying it.
Yeah.
And
also it just kind of got to the point where it's like I'm sick and tired of dealing with this. Because it was a lot of, if you just let me pull the trigger right now, I could end this game. I could end everything that is happening right now by just shooting right now.
Like Far Cry 4's intro, where the bad guy is like, just wait here and I'll be right back, and then you can just wait there.
Yeah. Which I actually talked with my son about that earlier this week. But yeah, it's just there's so much dumb stuff, and once you get to the end, you pretty much get to choose your ending. So I chose my ending, and crazy stuff happens, and another thing happened, and I just held down the skip button. I'm like, no, this is stupid. I don't even want to pretend to listen to this
anymore.
Yeah, and
did you choose to go back to the bunker?
Yeah.
Okay.
That
so
whole
you got
stupid
the canon ending is what you got.
Right.
Which the idea of what was happening, okay, cool, because he is a crazy person. However, the whole thing that was starting to happen, like I just had to listen to like 10 minutes of cutscene that the game would not let me skip. So then I get to like this next cutscene after doing something in the game, and it's this guy talking again. It's like, man, I do not. No, shut up.
I can't take more of you, buddy.
Yeah, I hold down the button to skip because I just don't care about the story.
Right.
And then it just sends me straight to credits. And I'm like, so wait a minute. You wouldn't let me skip this 10 minutes of just complete BS.
Right.
But like this last scene of the game, you were just like, oh yeah, no, you can skip.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You're fine.
Yeah. They didn't want to tease everybody with the fact that they were going to produce the same game again with slightly different people in it.
Right.
So yeah, Far Cry 5. I don't know what happened. I don't care to know what happened. It is not a good story.
No.
But there was just enough there that I was like, hey, enjoyed parts of it. I bought this as a surprise gift for my wife, who was like, no, I don't want to spend the money on it. It's $20 on Steam right now. It's coming to Switch later.
Look, I've spent $60 on way dumber stuff. We're going to buy a bear and breakfast.
Well, yeah, and that was that was kind of because she always feels guilty about buying video games, and I'm like, you see all of my collector's editions, others for your playing it, and it took, I had to sit her down and have her start playing it, and then a couple hours later, it was dinner time.
Right.
The kids and I are at the dinner table.
I'll be right there.
Yeah, and then today, like I told Moon and Bustin, I had to kick her off so that way I could do the podcast. Right. And I'm pretty sure as soon as I open the door afterwards, she's going to want to be right back in here playing that game again.
Yeah.
So what you don't actually know is she's actually at the door. And she's already stuck her head in 4 times to see if you're done yet.
She has a cup right on the door.
So this, like I said, I've just been watching this, so I asked her, hey, do you have any notes that you want me to say if I bring this game up? So she texted me some things, and her notes are, it's cute.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that I have to interact with the tool bench to add stuff to my house. I also don't like that I have to use the keypad to interact with the items to pick up, then using the mouse to click it all. Besides that, it's cute.
Yeah.
Also, the dumpster is your inventory chest.
Yes.
That's great.
So she is really loving the game and having a good time with it, and it looks cute, and I'm glad she likes it. She's at the point now where she's built 3 bedrooms in this cabin that she's in.
Mm-hmm.
She's been walking around this town at nighttime collecting random things.
Okay.
Anytime that she's needed money, she's gone back to her mom and in the game, and the mama bear gives you money, and then you go back and do the thing. At some point she had gotten a quest from Mama Bear, and she was supposed to have completed this in her mind, days ago, but she keeps showing back up to the Mama Bear saying, hey, can I have more money? And she just keeps giving her more money.
Right.
So she's like, I should probably complete this quest, but I kind of like having this infinite resources
That's right.
for money, cash.
You got to game the system, man.
Yeah. So, and you're not getting tons. I don't know how much she's getting or what she needs it for, but so
I bet you it's the equivalent of buy a potion.
Right.
Probably, yeah. But yeah, so she's having a lot of fun with it and really enjoying it. So nice. I guess watch a video, and if you're into building with some crafting, knock it out. I don't know how much money-wise she needs to get into. All the characters look really cool. The one ranger looks like the little kid from the Gorillaz band for some reason.
That's great. Man.
So yeah,
he's just looking for Clint Eastwood.
That's right.
So yeah, she's having a lot of fun with it. My last game that I played this week is Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Oh,
there we go.
The big new release.
Yes, it came in the mail yesterday. I already bought the expansion for it because I was like, they did good things with the second one. So
and you already put 47 hours into it.
No, I've only got 7 hours in the game since yesterday.
There you go.
Yeah. So, if you have never played a Xenoblade Chronicles game before, you do not need to play any Xeno game at this point so far for you to be able to play the third one. So, if you want to start with this one so far, knock yourself out. There's only been a couple things that have been said that I was like, I get that. But outside of that, it's its own contained story. It is amazing how this game goes, wow, this looks really great for a game that's on the Switch, to, wow, this looks really muddy.
Wow, this looks like a game on Switch.
Yeah.
That's the Pokemon Arceus problem.
Yeah, which I do not have an issue with at all. It doesn't detract. I'm not always about graphics unless your game is supposed to be about graphics. Then I get real nitpicky about it. But considering
if it's Crisis, it's like, this looks like crap. If it's Dying Light, it's like, holy crap, how did this look that good?
Yeah. Exactly. This still does scale really well.
That's great.
We've all played Skyrim, but this is a whole other level of, hey, you see that big giant thing in the background and you're just this tiny little speck running through this field, Or like especially with like the monsters, where it's like I've already encountered like these huge things that I didn't need to see what level they were because I already know I can't fight that.
Right.
So, but yeah, there's definitely a couple level 80 monsters in the beginning areas, so don't try it.
My favorite example of that, like not a weird aside or anything, but my favorite example of that is actually from my favorite Final Fantasy game, which is 8, which is when you go into the gardens at the school and there's that giant T-Rex just rocking around everywhere, and he will kill you in one shot. It's like, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Just got real. All right.
I'm not going to get into the story a whole lot because there's still a lot of weird things that I'm trying to process. So I'm just going to kind of lightly touch on everything because it doesn't... In the 7 hours I've been in here, it's been slowly introducing things to me. And what little it's been introducing has been a lot to take in.
Sure.
So at some point, you do get to do the merge thing where you turn into the giant mech-looking thing.
Oh, okay.
That is really cool and reminds me a lot of the first mech that you get in the original Xenogears. The Wudanu or whatever it was. I don't remember. It's been years. But yeah, there's a lot of things that happens there that is really interesting. Keeping with the Pacific Rim theme, both of the characters that merge together both have their conscience inside this one giant body.
Cool.
Yeah.
And they do this cool thing where when one of them talks, one of the eyes glows depending on which one is talking.
Oh,
That's
nice.
Really solid.
But
That's really cool.
And there's just... It's already gone like 110% on crazy Japanese story
JRPG
stuff already.
business.
I'm surprised I'm not fighting a god right now already.
Right.
No, what you don't know is you are a god and you're also the last boss.
That's right. That's right.
There's already been things about Morbius and Ouroboros and...
Oh, yeah, all the good. Idrisil's probably in there somewhere.
Yeah.
So clearly it's Morbin time is what you're saying?
Sorry,
I had to do it.
I'm sorry, Internet. Sorry to our listeners.
I've already seen the Aegis symbol in this game, like, within 20 minutes of playing it.
Great.
So, I mean, it's all there.
Yep.
The new thing that they have added so far that I can tell that wasn't there before is now you have classes.
Oh, okay.
Did you go see an optician at some point?
No. Classes.
Boo!
So what happens is your character, at the start right now, at some point in the story, your characters will be able to switch between each other for classes. You've got your general, this type of healers, defenders, attackers, and then it kind of branches off from there. It's like, oh, well, this is a combat healer and this is a support healer. It kind of does like this smaller branching off stuff. Eventually, you can change them. You can level up. You're leveling up your character and you're leveling up your rank in that class.
Okay.
The attack system is still like it always has been, like the MMO style of if your character is close enough, they will attack the enemy on their own. And then you're just waiting for the little bars to fill so that you can do whatever attack.
Right.
You do enough of those, you fill a bigger bar, which is kind of like an ultimate attack. And I just unlocked another bar where if I keep filling it's bars by numbers, man. Come on. It's like you fill bar number 1, you get bar number 2. And if you fill bar number 2 enough times, you get bar number 3, which is an even bigger attack.
Yeah.
I have so many icons on my giant TV right now.
It's the old Xenoblade business.
Yeah.
Just icons everywhere.
Yeah. And I'm still really liking it. A lot of the attacks are still there where some of them matter, where it's like, if you're behind them, you do more damage, but it still does damage even if you're not behind them. But you want to be behind them. Mm-hmm. Or you have the other one where it's like, if I do this attack from the side, this can start a chain where the other characters can down the enemy. And then once the enemy is downed, another one can daze the enemy. So that way it doesn't get back up and start attacking you automatically.
Oh, right.
While it's dazed, you can start doing more damage to it because of the state it's in. And if you have like the ultimate attack saved up on one of your characters, you just do that and you're doing tons of damage to whatever you're fighting.
Right.
So it's the same setup that the other games had. There is now, I don't remember this being in the last two, but there is now an arrow indicating if you're in front of, next to, or behind. I'm sorry, in front of, to the side of, or behind an enemy. That way you
nice.
can, that way you can better judge with the attacks that need you to be in a certain position. All you have to do is look at that arrow to see your relation, because sometimes there's a lot of things happening at once. You do get to a point where you have 6 characters on the field that are yours, that you can switch between anytime you want, or they can just run by themselves. And I have had times where it's my 6 characters and then 12 enemies that we are fighting simultaneously.
Right.
So it's a little difficult to figure out where everybody is at, and sometimes what you're even trying to hit sometimes.
Yeah.
They've also made it a lot clearer with the radius of like buffs and stuff, where if you put down a buff for increased attack, you basically see a red ring that pops up that shows, hey, being in here does that. And there's usually a little icon with like a flag sticking up that says, hey, this is for attack up.
Oh, okay.
This green ring over here is for regen. This blue ring over here is for defense up, or evasion up, or, whatever. So you can walk in between the rings, or if you can bunch everybody up and have them do their abilities, have all the rings stacking on top of each other. So you're getting attack, defense, evade, and healing at the same time.
Right.
So there's a lot going on. I want to get more into the story because, as always, I want to see how this ties to Xenogears.
Yes.
Because, like I said, I've already seen the Aegis symbol, so we're already getting that.
We got a couple of hints already.
Yeah, I want to see.
Yeah.
Well, they have also teased that the last 2 games, some characters might be in this game.
Oh, cool.
Or at least something related to those characters might be in this game.
Right.
So I kind of want to see, because this doesn't seem to be directly tied to either game.
Okay, interesting.
So I'm kind of curious on how that works out. There's already a bad guy that suspiciously looks like a bad guy from one of the other series.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a lot of things that they're kind of just, flashing in front of you, being like, oh, I wonder if they caught that one. It's like, no, I'm seeing it. Where are we going with it?
Right.
So, I am also glad to say that they got rid of the system in the second game that I really hated, and that was your characters having certain, I guess, like, side abilities unlocked, so that way you could do things like break a boulder, so you can continue on with the main story.
Oh, like the Pokemon style, where you learn to TM, so now you can get to the next area.
Bulbasaur used cut.
Yeah, exactly.
It was only an issue for me one time, and that caused me several hours of trying to figure out why can't I get through this area, only to then realize, oh, I need to have this ability. Nobody that I currently have has this ability, so then I had to farm a blade to get that ability so I can continue on with the main story.
Oh, yeah.
That is not in this so far. So,
nice.
But yeah, it's just, I'm really liking it, and I'm glad. And I have seen that it's gotten a lot of good reviews. I've seen that a lot of people are already complaining that it's just the same as the other 2. It is and it isn't, but really I wasn't, I kind of don't have an issue with it being the same as the other 2. Like, that's kind of what I wanted.
Yeah, like that's never really a bad thing. I mean, if you're not playing a lot of RPGs, it probably isn't a great thing, but
there's enough. All I wanted was quality of life changes, and so far those are in this game.
Right.
And that's all I need. The only thing they could do better is if Nintendo put out, a Switch Pro, and then, we're seeing this in 4K or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not here for the graphics. It looks fine. It plays fine. I have not tried it in handheld. Everything that I've done is on in docking.
Right.
So I know I'll test that this coming week, because I know that was I don't know if the first remastered had that issue or not, but I know the second one had some slowdown and definitely dropped frame rate when it was in handheld at points. So I'll test that out this week to see how that works out on here. But other than that, I mean, it's a Xenoblade game.
Yeah.
You chances are you already know if you want to play this or not, and if you wanted to pick it up, it's fun. If you've never played it, honestly, pick any of them. They've got the remaster of the original Wii game on the Switch. They've got the second game, and now we have the third game. Pick any one of them that you just happen to find and start there, because they're not necessarily tied in with each other.
That's true.
So it's basically like Final Fantasy. So,
right.
But yeah, I am absolutely loving this game. I want to get back to it.
Nice.
But I'm here with you, lovely gentlemen. So.
Oh, hello.
But, lovely.
I'll take gentlemen.
But that's all I have right now, because like I said, it's still introducing me to more systems. I still currently right now can't fuse my characters together. That was just a story, kind of thing that happened. The character classes just got introduced to me of being able to change, and it was funny because
right at the beginning.
Yeah, it makes you, for the story, it makes you change classes, and then it's like, all right, now that you've changed your classes, you cannot change them back until later on in the story. And I'm like, but I want to finish ranking up my other ones that I was already doing. But it like half hour later, it was like, okay, you've done enough, so now you can switch between all your classes. And hey, this is how class switching works and all that. And it's
nice.
There's just so much going on right now that I'm like, there's pretty colors.
Right. Numbers are going up.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm really, really loving this game right now, and that's the last thing I played this week.
Nice. I have played more Forza Horizon 5, the Hot Wheels DLC.
Yep, I need to get in on this as soon as possible, because I need something like this. This could be my Zen game.
It likely will be. And it's kind of interesting because it's a much more directed experience than I feel like the kind of base game was. I think our feedback of Forza Horizon 4, and I think most people shared it, was sort of like, all right, I finished one event and now there's like 50 more. Forza Horizon 5, I felt like did a little bit better job of that, where it's like, all right, I did the race to the festival site, and now I kind of opened up a couple and doing some more of those, open up some more. Thing that I like about this DLC is you do kind of your introductory set of races, and then they're like, all right, here's all the B class races you can do. It's like 2 events and like 2 races and like 1 story mission. They have those like multi-chapter story ones. But those are the 5 things you need to do to get to the A rank. And when you do A rank, then you'll have a handful more things to do instead of, welcome to Hot Wheels, 75 icons. Yeah, exactly. Like they really avoid doing that, which I think is really solid for these games, especially for this one where the DLC takes place in such a smaller area than kind of the proper Mexico area, that I kind of like that they have a more directed thing for this.
And honestly, in the main game, the only real issue that I have with them, the way that they release, I guess, the missions or whatever, the races that you can do, is that it's not just located to one area. It's like, oh, you completed this one race here. Here's 5 more clear across the map. It's
here's
like,
all the types of races.
Just slowly start to spread it out for me. That way I slowly work my way out. But whatever.
Yeah, so I kind of like that they're taking a little bit of a different approach here. And it's Forza Horizon. I just like playing it. Like it's one of those things where it's like, hey, I'm going through this frozen volcano and I'm having a lot of fun just doing the thing. So I haven't played that much lately because I haven't had a ton of time to do it, but so far everything seems pretty great in that.
So just to rewind a second here, did you use the word frozen volcano?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Science clearly is irrelevant to the Hot Wheels folks.
100%. Yeah, your science has no place in the Hot Wheels in the sky.
They have sharks that eat cars. I mean, come on.
I'm fine with the sharks that eat cars. I'm fine with the T-Rexes that terrorize the orange trucks. Yep. But a frozen volcano is where I draw the line.
Yeah, once you start
it's a bridge too far.
Yeah, you'll see. It's a pretty cool. It's part of the introductory race. You kind of see a couple of the different areas, and I like. There's like, it's a frozen volcano, and it's like, all right, yeah, I'm here with you. I'm picking up what you're putting down somehow. My next game here is I've been playing more of The Sims 4. I completed the... So I talked before how it did like one of the scenarios, I think they're called, where it's like, oh, do one of these kind of pre-built objectives.
Mm.
The one that I had picked before was the millionaire one, so you have to have $1 million on hand, but you started with $0. That ended up sort of how you would expect it to go, which was I had no money for a very long time, and then all of a sudden I got $1 million.
You had all the money.
Yeah, and a large part of that was so the game has these aspirations you're going towards. It's like a multi-stage system where it's like, all right, this first stage you're gonna get 2 or 3 objectives. You complete those, you get to the next stage that has another 2 or 3 objectives. You usually complete it for like 4 stages, and at the end you usually get a permanent and pretty powerful benefit to your sim. Like if you do the athletics one, at the end of it, your sim lives for a really long time. And like the nature one for gardening, your sim won't catch on fire and like won't be affected by fire anymore.
That doesn't check.
Yeah, a lot of it is sort of like that's.
I mean,
okay.
If you went with firefighter, okay,
right.
Why not?
The one that does make a lot of sense.
The power of photosynthesis.
That's right. The one that does make a lot of sense is the money one. It's a pretty long one to get to the end of it, but by the time you get to the end of it, every week you get a deposit essentially on the on the interest of the money you currently have. So for me, I did that for both people, so I was doubling it. So by the time I was, over $500,000 kind of sitting in the bank, I'm getting like $75,000 a week, and that made getting to the end of that very easy, which was nice.
So the secret interest, to being rich,
right?
Yeah, the secret to being rich is already be rich, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Disappointingly, when I finished that, when you complete each one of those aspirations, or you complete like an individual objective in those, they give you essentially like aspiration points that you can spend to kind of permanently upgrade your sims in pretty powerful ways. When I finished that whole thing, it just gave me 5,000 aspiration points. And I was like, well, that's fine, but like this game took so long that I bought everything already, so it wasn't super handy.
Did you have a time frame for that, or was it just
no? It's just open.
Was just making it. Okay.
Yeah. Some of them seem like they have time frames, like you need to do this thing within like 2 or 3 generations, or something like that. But I probably won't play another one of them because none of the rest of them seem super interesting, and the benefit wasn't really that great. I did purchase the City Living pack, which I hadn't played any of the packs in Sims 4 before, so I didn't really realize how impactful some of these packs really are. And the thing that sold me on this one was they were basically like, oh, there's a new area, of course, there's like a new city, and you sort of work from terrible apartments all the way up to the penthouse. And I was like, if you can have apartments, like this is kind of neat. I could let me check this out.
Yeah. Here's your shack with a wooden or dirt floor, if you're lucky.
Right. And you remembered why you don't live in an apartment anymore.
Right. I picked an apartment. The only one that was really open was the one. The modifier for the lot is that it is spooky, which means I often have a visit from a ghost, which is all right. That ghost seems nice. His name is Chaz. He seems okay. But I'm
how did Chaz the hipster die? Theories, please.
I don't
being a
know.
total Chaz.
That's right. Oh man, he really chazzed it up.
Did he choke on his avocado toast?
Yeah, probably. God, these millennials, what are they doing? But it's pretty interesting how different it is because you're living in an apartment, you're dealing with your neighbors and them fighting at 2:30 in the morning, and if they wake you up, the button to go back to sleep is grayed out because it's too loud in your apartment to go back to sleep. There's a bunch of festivals that are going on throughout the town you're living in. So like every couple of days a festival will show up. There's a bunch of new skills, there's a bunch of new places for you to visit. Like it's a pretty cool, much larger piece of DLC than I was really expecting. Which is nice because it was expensive. But it's been a rough couple weeks. I needed some retail therapy, and why not buy a big old dumb pack for Sims 4? You know?
I'm honestly surprised you didn't get the school one.
So, I was looking. There's now 2 school ones. There's a college one and there's a high school one that just came out, alongside a big patch, which I'll talk about here in a minute. I don't want to... Right now, I don't want to play as, like, a younger sim. Like, I kind of want to play as an adult sim right now. I like the idea of both of those, and I'll probably get them at some point so I can experience that stuff. But for me right now, I'm more interested in like the werewolf one because apparently that is kind of dumb and fun at the same time, and it seems really interesting.
My wife is all in on the vampire, magic, and werewolf one. And
yeah,
is there a mermaid one?
I think so.
Not that I've seen,
there is.
But Oh, there is. Okay. There's a lot.
I just think it's not. I don't think it's a big pack. I think it's one of the.
No, I think it's just like a character.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff for this game. It's really exciting.
There is.
You know, I'm coming to the Sims 4 fresh after 10 years. They did put
the
out
Binding of Isaac problem.
Yeah. They did put out a huge patch this past week. There's a bunch of interesting stuff, like they have body hair and facial hair that will grow over time that you kind of need to maintain. They put in...
Anyway,
you don't have to
on a daily basis.
Yeah, you don't have to, which is nice. The thing that they did put in that is pretty nice is your sexual preferences. And the thing that they did was it's not optional. They went out and they made a big deal saying like, no, like this system isn't optional. When you create a new sim, you have to choose something because that's how the world works.
Okay.
And so far that seems like it's pretty interesting. The system that I'm not sure about is they have kind of redone the wants and needs system. And the way that I play the Sims is I leave my Sims to the autonomy a lot. So I'm not really micromanaging them very often. If they're like not waking up and they very desperately need to go to the bathroom, I will do that. But I'm not making kind of the micro level decisions. I'm usually making the macro level ones. So this system is pretty frustrating to me because if you don't fulfill the Sims' wants, they start getting frustrated and they start getting angry or sad or upset, and it starts affecting their work pretty heavily.
Welcome to the world, Sims.
Right. But it's pretty frustrating because I don't like the level of micromanagement I have to do with my Sims on kind of a day-to-day basis. Some of the stuff they'll do automatically, like if they really have to go to the bathroom, one of their wants will suddenly be go to the bathroom. And you can go do it. It gives you like 5 aspiration points. They're a little bit happier. But if you don't do some of the bigger ones of like spend 8 hours outside in the sun, then they get really upset because their wants and needs aren't met. That one's not super bad. There's a system in there where if your sim has been working at their job for a while and they haven't gotten a promotion or anything, they get really depressed that they feel like they're stuck in a dead-end job, which is fine because the game is... They probably are. But also, the game is really pushing you to do the kind of secondary objectives for your career to push your performance higher to get that promotion, which is fine. But the part where it really breaks down is when you're at the top of your career, like you've done to the top of the chef career and you're celebrity chef now, which is the highest level you can go in that career path. They're still doing that. They're still like, well, I haven't gotten a promotion. What am I doing? I haven't got a promotion in weeks. And it's like,
you Gordon Ramsay punk, stop complaining.
Like you can't go higher. Like you're Ding Hell's Kitchen. There is nowhere higher for you to go. So I'm not sure if that's an oversight or kind of a thing that they're intending to do, but that part specifically feels really frustrating because it's like, I'm not going to change you to a new job because you're making $4,500 a day at your job. We need that money. Like,
I was saying, did they still do it where if you leave a job, you're basically starting entry level at the other one?
Yeah, and you're doing like, you leave this job where you're making $4,500 a day, you're making like $10 an hour.
See, it would be interesting if they had it where it's like you build up a resume.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if you could transition from, let's say, celebrity chef into a different field where
chief of police, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tech super, the president.
Yeah, right.
I'm just saying.
It's doable.
So it seems like there's some stuff like that where I'm hoping over time as they kind of keep working on these systems, they massage them a little bit, because I think it can be a little bit frustrating to like do all this work, especially to get to the pinnacle of this career, and then still have them be like, what am I doing? It's a dead end job. It's like, no, like you're writing cookbooks, you're on TV, like you did it. You should feel pretty good about that. So that's the only thing that
you're making more money than I am in real life.
Right. Like let's really take a look at how this is going. But yeah, The Sims 4 is still great. Still 2 thumbs up. I like it. I've been playing a lot of it. Last game here, Citizen Sleeper. The first free DLC story came out called Flux. I'm not going to spoil it here. It is around an hour, so it's very much like kind of one of the storylines that's already in the game, where like you meet a character, you do a bunch of stuff with them, you make a big decision, and then the story kind of plays out. It is just as well written as the rest of the game. It is an end game story, so if you're just starting the game out, don't try to do any of this stuff anytime soon, because essentially they gave you like, we're going to go do this thing in 12 cycles. I need you to do these 3 things. And then once you finish those, you need you to do 3 more things. And then we can go attempt to do this thing. So your timeline is really tight, and the dice rolls you have to do need to be really high, which is easy at the end of the game, because typically you're starting the day with like, oh, I started with 3 6s and 2 2s. I'm going to spend the 6s and re-roll my 2s. Hey, look, more 6s. So that, keep that in mind. But I really liked how this went. I really liked, we got to do something very different, and we got to deal with something different in the Eye, which is the space station you're in, that you haven't really dealt with before. And there's a little bit of stuff at the end of the DLC, a little bit of text at the end of the DLC that's very much like, you should kind of be paying attention to the things that are coming next, which is very exciting, because I think he's making 2 or 3 more free DLC packs over the next year. So it seems like this is getting pretty well received. The developer has been pretty honest, saying like, I just want to keep making more Citizen Sleeper. I found a way to put free DLC packs out. We'll see how they go. I don't know how they're going to work. And This one largely worked the same way it does in game, where you fire up the game and it's like, hey, you ran into these two people in a dirty alleyway. I guess now we're friends and we're doing stuff. So that it felt very similar to the normal Citizen Sleeper.
Cool.
And it's nice. I could spend an hour in Citizen Sleeper, get the whole thing done, get the storyline, and be like, great. I'll see you guys in 6 more months for the next one. I liked dipping my toe back into it and being like, yeah, this game is still really, really great. And I'm happy to be back.
Did you start a new game for that, or did you just open up one of your other ones?
I opened up the last game I had, which was how I finished my game. Was I said no to all of the endings that I got, and my ending was essentially you just live on the eye, like you've made a home for yourself on the eye.
Yeah.
Which the game kind of referenced too, which I was surprised by. But yeah, I just loaded up my thing, which is just like, yeah, this is where you live. Let's do the thing. So that was kind of nice.
Cool.
But that's all I've been playing. Let's take a break.
Yep.
Hi, Louise. Meow. The tail's hitting me. Oh man.
That way used to.
Be gone. Okay, are you guys ready to wrap this thing up?
Yep. Yep.
Because I want to play more Xenoblade.
I was about to say, Moon and I have to record something else too.
My wife wants to play more Baron Breakfast.
That's right. That's right.
Who would have thought that we're still gonna get more to record at the end of the show?
Yeah, like I said in Discord, mild shock.
Yeah.
All right,
let's Pikachu face.
That's right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of August 1st, 2022. South of the Circle comes out PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series Console, Switch, and PC. 11-Bit Studios is putting this out. It's kind of like looks like it's a survival adventure visual novel-y thing. The art style reminds me a lot of This Is the Police. Those games, like the cutscenes, it reminds me a lot of those, which I liked those a lot, as terrible as those storylines were on purpose.
Talk about heavy.
Yeah, man, especially that second one. Jeez.
I'm glad we played it when we played it. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Before the world started imitating art.
Yeah, there's a lot going on this.
I would say before the world started saying the quiet bit loud, to be completely honest.
That's true. Yeah, This Is the Police 2 definitely says the quiet part out loud. But South of the Circle looks cool. Watch a trailer for that. That seems like a neat thing. And then Turbo Golf Racing comes out, Xbox One, Series Consoles, and PC. Hey, do you like Rocket League?
Mm-hmm.
Do you wish that Rocket League was also a golf game?
No,
nope.
Nobody wishes that.
Okay, well then maybe you shouldn't play Turbo Golf Racing. Turbo Golf Racing looks really cool because it is essentially, hey, Rocket League is a golf game on a very large scale. That trailer makes it look really cool.
Yeah, my son is super excited for it, and I was like, "Cool, nice. Go for it, and then tell me what you think about it."
That's right. I will live through you and your joy in it, because I don't like Rocket League at all. That's all the releases we have this week, and also I didn't feel like bringing in any news stories because things are just not good. So it's the normal industry stuff of things are terrible. Your Steam Decks are probably gonna ship earlier than you thought. That's a positive. That's good.
Yep. I know that stupid company decided to do NFT crap, so sure.
Yeah. We're not doing NFT watch. We're not. Yeah.
Actually, there is one super easy news story.
Okay.
Sony discontinues PS5 Accolade systems, and all PS5 owners say, "The what now?"
I already forgot about it because nobody uses the Accolades. Yeah, Sony said like, hey, no, none of you are using the Accolade system, so we're going to discontinue that. I use my PS5 for a lot of time, literally every day. I have no idea what that system is.
Yeah. didn't even know it was a thing until I saw
Yeah.
the article, and that's why I threw it in Discord, because I was like,
Yeah.
does anybody know what this is?
It is allegedly a system where you can give feedback to another player that's on a PlayStation system after you have played a game with them, where you can say, oh, they were super helpful, oh, they were really good at the game, oh, they were really nice. I don't know where that is. I have never seen it. Nobody has given me any of them. I play Gambit and Destiny 2, so everyone hates me.
Yeah.
It has never popped up for any reason whatsoever.
You might have hundreds of accolades waiting for you to open that you're
it's just
unaware
a picture,
of.
It's just a picture of a middle finger where it's like, how dare you? Yeah, so accolade system is going away. I don't know. Sorry, gone too soon? Probably, maybe. I'm not sure.
Can't miss what you didn't know existed.
That's right. That's right. Let's move on to our question. My good friend and longtime TVGP community member Bill Sifford writes in, what is your most memorable boss fight? One that might have been mechanically challenging, made you feel strong emotion, had amazing music, or one you finished had you thinking, that jerk had it coming? For me recently, it was the 4th area boss from PS5 Returnal. I don't want to spoil it at all, but it was a fight that was challenging, had great music, but also put a nice bow on the events leading up to them. Thanks, guys. Hope you had a great show.
I got a couple of quick answers for this one.
Great.
I got some too.
Let's fly back to the old standby Metal Gear Rising Revengeance.
Ah, yes.
The very first boss you face in that is a Metal Gear Ray, and that's when the music hits.
Yep.
And it's one of my favorite moments in video games.
Yep. It's really good.
That music hitting that entire sequence. Sticking with the Metal Gear franchise, the boss.
Yeah.
Yes.
Metal Gear Solid 3. That fight is insane. It's great.
Yep.
And the thing it makes you do at the end of that fight is gut-wrenching, and it makes you do it. You don't have a choice.
Hit square, Snake.
It's real bad. And let's see, two more. Hades from Hades.
Yeah. Yep.
That was a super emotional moment the first time you beat him and you start that walk through into the mortal realm, and it's like, oh, so this is snow.
Right.
Okay. And like you get to the fields of Elysium, I think it is, and it's like it's a really great like sequence as a whole. But my personal favorite he had that coming. Thank God I finally killed him. Oh boy, that was so hard, and the music is insanely good, so that's like a 4 or 5 header right by itself. It's Sephiroth.
I was actually going to bring that up too.
But not the one you think.
Well, it depends.
It's the Kingdom Hearts Sephiroth.
Which one? 1 or 2?
2. The Nightmare one.
Yeah, the one that's somehow even worse than Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah.
Where you literally have to be able to block and time that block to be able to actually win that fight.
You have to play it perfectly.
But it's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. That entire sequence is so great.
And it's one of those boss fights that's really rewarding once you get it down. Like you know what he's going to do, you know the patterns, you know where you have to toss an elixir because it's the 2 or 3 times he does damage to you in that fight. Like it's really it's such a rewarding fight.
Well, and it's also really funny too, because whenever anyone first came across Sephiroth in the first Kingdom Hearts game, everyone was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, this is going to suck. And then you actually fight him and you're like, oh no, they actually kept him lore difficult.
Yeah, he's the real deal.
Yeah. And that's not even on proud mode. Even on easy mode, that guy was not a pushover.
Yep.
Yeah. One of the things that I was actually going to bring up about Sephiroth was from the original Final Fantasy VII game, where you're fighting him, and then he just summons Supernova.
Yep.
And then you have a 2-minute long cutscene that happens.
Yep.
And the music for that, man. No one can tell me that there's a better song than One Wing Angel for a boss.
Yeah. I love the Metal Gear Rising boss music because it's all just cheesy metal rock, and it's just great in so many different ways. But One Winged is something special.
Yeah.
I feel like if we talked about MGS3, we also have to talk about the end
I was
fight.
actually just going to bring that up
Yeah.
too, about how you can quote unquote cheese it.
Well, it's like it's one of the most tense silent fights that you've ever gone through. It's like one of the longest boss fights where you're on edge the entire time, just trying to find this old man in this screen of the jungle. I know there's multiple screens you
camouflaged
can use.
really well in the game.
Yeah, it's really great.
But then finding out that during a cutscene you can kill him and completely skip that boss, or you can save during that fight and move your internal system clock forward so that he dies of old age.
Yeah, nowadays you have to turn it off and then just wait I think the week, and then when you fire your game back up, he's just dead. It's really great. I have a special shout out for the final boss of Binding of Isaac, the one that got introduced in Repentance. Someone will say it's not really the final boss. You should probably watch the cutscene after. That is definitely the end of Binding of Isaac. It is such a cool and giant boss that is so different. You play it so differently from how you play the rest of the game that it turns out to be a really, really neat. It's called the Beast because of course it is. That's a really cool fight that feels much better than some of the other end bosses that Isaac has had over the years.
I'll also say the end boss for Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2, I'm not going to get into it, but the way that you interact with that boss in either game, it's like, oh wow, that's cool. That sucks.
You know, let's talk about that for Final Fantasy VIII. I guess there's spoilers for like a 25-year-old game if you really care about it that much. The whole final dungeon and getting up to the final boss of like, yeah, you're in this dungeon and you can't do anything. You got to go back and get your commands and stuff, and then you can go take on the boss at whatever level of preparation you want to. I still think that's a really cool. Not only is it a really cool place, and a really cool final boss battle, but I still really like that mechanic.
Oh, let's dip back into Metal Gear Solid and talk about Psycho Mantis, arguably one of the best boss fights of all time.
Yep. Also, minor spoilers, the fight in MGS1 and the fight in MGS4, both of those are very good.
Dude, I was watching somebody play MGS4 again recently, and they were fighting one of the octopus.
Yes.
I forgot how freaky those things were.
All of the Beauty and the Beast fights, too, were pretty intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also forgot about the monkey in that game. The smoking, beer-drinking monkey. Arms-dealing monkey.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
MGS4. Man. It's got a lot going on in there.
Talking about revolutionary bosses, pun intended, Bowser, Super Mario 64.
Yeah.
Absolutely unheard of at the time. But the fact that you grab him by his tail and swing him around in a circle and throw him into a mine is so good. Like, that's quintessentially, that's why Nintendo are great, because that type of boss fight sums up that entire game where it's like, yeah, it's the sideways thing, except now it's in 3D.
Yeah.
So you don't hit a lever to drop him in the lava. You literally pick him up by his tail and giant swing him into a mine.
Yeah.
Which you can miss if you don't time it right.
Right. And you actually don't attack Bowser himself. You know, Mario isn't getting there doing a combo or anything. You know, it still makes sense.
Well, another boss fight that I think a lot of people forget about is Shadow Link from the original Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Where you're basically walking into this lake that's infinite, and there's just an island, and as you're walking to the island, you all of a sudden start to notice, hey, your shadow isn't there anymore, and then it's just in front of you. And it's got the same equipment that you do.
As soon as you said Shadow Link, I was like, yeah, of course, from Zelda 2. And I was like, no one remembers that one.
I was going to say, yeah, if you want to go further back, but no one really played 2. Yeah. Well, although maybe now, since it's on the console.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like 2 still has a stigma against it, where it's like, yeah, you could play 1. You probably played Link to the Past. Don't worry about 2. It's like, no, 2 is really good. It's just obtuse as hell.
It was before its time.
Very much so.
I do feel like we have to throw some Souls love if we're having a boss discussion here.
Oh, so, absolutely.
Nimp,
yeah.
Top 2 Souls-like bosses.
Oh, let's go with... You want just... Well, hang on. Let me think. I really liked the butterfly. I don't remember the name off the top of my head. The one that you're on... Yeah, you're on the walkway for the castle, and you have to fight this butterfly at range. And if you don't have ranged weapons... Yeah.
Mm.
What's another one that I like? Dude, just Elden Ring. Like, most of those bosses, as much as you guys heard me complain about them all in here,
right.
They were all, even the final boss, like, as many times as that thing handed me my own butt, just the big form that it had in the giant arena that you were in, just the random attacks, like these massive attacks that it was doing that you had to figure out how to dodge, because there was no way you're blocking any of that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think for me, it's happen or wherever. It's the flat dragon that comes out the waterfall in the sewers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because he's the first one that gives you a huge sense of scale in that game, where it's like, yeah, I'm just literally cutting this thing's toenails and hoping that I can kill it. But my personal favorite is Ormstein and Smog.
That's a classic.
They suck. But the fact that you can get a different weapon and a different soul depending on which one you kill first, and then the other one's attacks change appropriately depending on who you've killed, it's such a great fight.
It also doesn't help that they mimicked that fight in Elden Ring, and once again, that fight almost broke me on a Souls game. And I would be remiss if I did not mention Ceaseless Discharge.
Right. For just one reason. Feyrer in chat says Vault of Glass. Atheon and Vault of Glass in Destiny 1 and 2 for listeners. That's a really good one. Probably my favorite Destiny raid boss is Oryx, the Taken King from King's Fall in Destiny 1. It, just like Bowser, it is a fight where you never actually do damage to the boss, but all of the mechanics you're doing in the fight all kind of cascades into this thing you do that then does damage to the boss. So like you do a number of phases, but you never really shoot the boss itself, and you're kind of working towards these big things, which I think is still really cool.
I like the
let me guess, Destiny players hate that.
Destiny players absolutely hate that because they're like, well, I want to shoot the big guy with the boss. It's like, come on, man.
That's why, because they can't do increased damage and kill them faster.
I have to do 4 phases. What? And it's like, Nimp, you do have a good point. The Crota fight is really great. You have one person that gets to have the hero moment of dashing up there with the sword and making Crota kneel so that you can do the damage to him. Like, that's a cool fight.
9 times out of 10, it doesn't go the way that you're expecting it to go.
Absolutely not.
And whoever is supposed to be the sword bearer, guess what? Isn't the sword bearer anymore. Right. So someone needs to pick that thing up and get up there.
My last. Oh, go ahead.
I've got one more.
Sure.
I don't know the name of them because I'm terrible for it. But the horse-headed demon in Doom 2016. The guy who you don't see at all, and then you get sent down into this basement thing, and then these giant doors open.
Right.
It's not the Kako demon. I know it's not him.
No, it's
one of the other ones.
I never remember.
But you know who I'm talking about. It's the huge one with the rocket launcher arms.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, he's big.
Yeah. I think it was their take on the cyber demon, I think.
Yes, I think so.
That was a cool. There's a lot of cool boss fights in there. My final one is a recent one from this year or last year. There weren't very many of them, but I liked all the boss fights in Tunic. I think they did a lot with only like 3 or 4 boss fights. And it was kind of neat to be able to fight a boss in there and be like, right, yeah, this game's hard. Okay, let's keep trying this. Oh geez.
Especially fighting the final boss when you were not taking the golden path and the S show that turns into.
Yeah. Oh no, this is really hard. Oh no, it just got harder. Oh god.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I've got one more. Capitalism.
Sure. There you go.
The final boss of Stardew Valley. Down with Jojo Mart.
That's right.
Down with capitalism.
Unspoken enemies that I also forgot to mention for Dark Souls. Gravity, #1 killer in any Dark Souls game.
Incorrect messages.
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot. One more.
Yep.
One more. I swear. Last one.
Okay.
The hardest final boss I have ever played in my life.
Okay.
The credit sequence from Nier Automata.
That is our best pick here. Yeah.
It's a great boss fight, and it has a gut punch, and it does a whole bunch of other things to you, and it does the thing that game does.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's our final answer. That's the only right one. Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. Thank you, Bill, for writing in with that question. And that's the end of our episode for this week. Thank you for listening. You can visit us at tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us is on the right-hand side of the page, including a link to the YouTube channel, the Discord server, and the Patreon server over at patreon.com/E1M1.
Them ones be numbers, my boys.
Please support us financially over there. The recommended tier is the $5 tier. That gets you everything, including the Critical Misses production meeting that we do in between seasons, where if you wanted a very chill kind of behind the scenes of how Moon and I kind of make that show, and usually kind of how we make a lot of the shows on this network. It is very similar. You can go check that out. That is Patreon exclusive, the $5 tier. If you can't support us financially, we totally understand. The best way to help us is going and liking, comment, and subscribing on YouTube. That stuff actually genuinely does work. And telling your friends, sharing on social media, all that stuff, rating us 5 stars wherever you listen, all that stuff is hugely helpful, and we sincerely appreciate it. And we appreciate you listening to the show. We hope we'll see you next week. Bye.
Oh.
Bye.
Excuse me. Nimp, what are your titles for this week?
I have Some Shade Was Thrown, Take You to the Doctor Court, The Reason is Achievements, Metal Gear Solid of Its Time, Of Course I Know Him, He's Me, I Drew the Line at Frozen Volcano, Retail Therapy, and Hit Square Snake.
Moon, what do you have?
Doctors Have Borders, Moon's Return to Form, The Squares and the Turns, Forest Advantage, JRPGs Are Black Holes, Schrodinger's Brother, Haunt My Nightmares, All the Obnoxious Ones, I Don't Care to Know What Happened, The Power of Photosynthesis, and Welcome to the World Sim.
Well, I gotta write down The Power of Photosynthesis. I have The Shadow of a Blade of Grass. It's just like the most poetic sentence Moon has said in a while. Some Shade Was Thrown, Take You to Doctor Court, Moon's Return to Form, JRPGs Are Black Holes, and The Power of Photosynthesis. I like The Power of Photosynthesis a lot. Shadow of a Blade of Grass is really good too. Take You to Doctor Court is solid. Anything you guys are leaning towards?
I kind of like The Power of Photosynthesis. I do also like Schrodinger's Brother and JRPGs Are Black Holes.
I feel like out of all of those, I'm leaning more towards the Photosynthesis.
Yeah, as I say, I don't really have anything that's reaching out to me.
All right. Want to do the Photosynthesis one?
Yes, and I'm ready.
Oh my.
Jesus. Calm down.
Had that ready.
Oh,
I know,
this is
right?
going to be a bad joke, and it's so good, it's so
I
bad
love
at the
it.
same time.
Is this going to be another one of those where I just sit here silently staring at you after you say it?
Judging.
No, you're going to judge the hell out of me. Right?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, let's go.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 771 for August 1st, 2022. The power of photosynthesis.
Mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell.
Oh my god.
Were you playing Parasite Eve again?
That's right.
No.
God.
Got to find mitochondria in Eve.
That's right.
Mhm.
Oh my god. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
I want you to make a cell birthday cake for all of us to eat that have a mitochondria in there.
That's right.
Bye.
Okay.